Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Mr. Omar, the school principal. I would like to welcome everybody, all the parents who joined us for this orientation night for high school. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you very much for taking the time to come to this important event. Today, inshallah, we will be presenting to you about the requirements and guidelines for our online teaching for the beginning, for the start of this academic year 2021. And inshallah, at the end, you will have enough information to get started with supporting your kids. I would like first to thank you for the support that you showed during the pandemic crisis. Honestly, I'm very proud of our parents because not all schools showed the same motivation and engagement from the parents, even though the crisis was kind of a surprise to everybody. And a lot of schools actually closed immediately. Our school was ready to switch immediately to a virtual school without any disruption, without any gap in the educational learning continuum of our students. So that was, of course, because of your engagement and your concern and your consideration and the time that you put together to support your children. For this year, inshallah, we are, as you know, RSS has always been concerned and interested in improving further and further. And for this year, inshallah, because we had a very successful experience with all the curriculum that we covered before, especially during the summer with the program that we did online. Alhamdulillah, no student was left behind, whether during the first program, the second chance program, and the third chance program. Everybody finished the curriculum successfully. And honestly, I praise everybody for that, whether the administration, the teachers, the students, as well as you as parents. I know that it has been very difficult for you, especially for getting the students started with something new. It's a new experience for them. And I am sure a lot of students learn some skills of responsibility and independent learning skills. So for this year, based on that, inshallah, we are raising our bar of expectations for more or higher quality for teaching, learning, and assessment. So as you know, we changed our curriculum to better learning. It's more engaging, more interactive, and more of critical thinking and what we call higher order thinking skills. So those are basically the skills that are needed for our students going further with their career. As you all know, we are teaching our students for their own generation, not for our generation. We learned in 20th century, but we have to get them ready for 21st century. So among those skills that we are expecting our students to acquire and develop is what we call critical thinking, problem solving, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, and also communication. I am sure that most of you, if not all of you, notice that your children are getting better in communication, behaving in more confident way, showing more responsibility when they got up in the morning next to their ready for their lesson, first lesson in the morning during summer. All of that, I am sure that the students learned a lot to be more independent from adult supervision. One other thing is that we are focusing this year in raising the bar of our assessment also. We are looking for quality product in what the students submit, whether in the homework, the quizzes, the test, or the project. So we are expecting more from the students. And the reason being is that we want to get our students ready from middle school to high school, and then from high school to their career path at college or university. For my recommendations for you to support your children to have a safe and effective study during online learning, because we don't know for how long it's going to take before we go back to our classrooms, inshallah. But in the meantime, we have to do the maximum we can do with the current situation. So as we are going for online again, I recommend that the students, first of all, to have a good quality sleep at night. It's very important that the student during weekdays to go to bed early and have good night of sleep and get ready in the morning for learning. And if you can provide your children with a study corner that is quiet with no distraction, far away from family discussion, so the student can focus in their learning. This is very, very important. And one thing I would ask every student to do as they are using the screens, to give some rest to their eyes by using the rule called 20-20-20. This rule of 20-20-20 is basically says that after looking at the screen for 20 minutes, you should look away from the screen for 20 seconds. And you look to some target that is far away from you 20 feet, which is about 6.5 meters. So doing that will give some rest to the student eyes, so he doesn't harm them. Also for the proper posture, we do recommend that the student sit on a chair in front of his laptop or iPad, and the iPad will be vertical, so his neck is maintained in a good posture. This way he can inshallah be saved for his safe for his physical health as well as mental health. And during those breaks that we did between the periods of 15 minutes and then a longer one for the lunch and prayer, the student has to maximize the benefit of this break by drinking some water or taking a snack, and also by doing some stretches. Even 5 to 10 minute stretches will help a lot. Don't underestimate what some small push-ups or sit-ups or jumping around or even walking. It helps with the physical activity. And one last thing that I would recommend, because we're not in the school, in physical school for PE, so the students are missing the physical education, I would strongly recommend that all students exercise at least twice a week. Whether they go with their parents, they go with you guys and you take them for a run or jogging or walk or register them to a club if they're open. So the bottom line is they have to exercise, to have enough exercise during the week. This way, inshallah, our children will develop physically, mentally, and emotionally in a complete and perfect way, inshallah. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now I will give the mic to Miss Karen to welcome you and go through some information, inshallah, and we benefit from her insight, inshallah.
If you're currently studying from home, here are some ways to stay up and compete with great work and achievement. Firstly, follow your standard routine, waking up at the same time as you usually do for school, taking regular breaks and lunches. Set up a space that you only use for attending the sessions, for the change of scenery would help you concentrate. Participate effectively in your virtual classes and work collaboratively with your classmates on your group assignments. That will help you feel connected, motivated, and collaborative. Do your assignments on time and on regular basis. Don't stay in the same position for too long. Take a 10-minute break after each session. Make sure to do 30 minutes of exercise every day. Recite or listen to some Quran verses every day. That will help you stay positive and powerful. Finally, look after your mental health by staying in touch with your classmates and friends and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. With these in mind, you'll be doing great at your virtual school in no time. Best wishes from Rawda Salihin School.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, Mr. Omar, for the great introduction. I would also like to welcome you all to the new academic year that will be, inshallah, equally successful, yet different. Thank you again for all the support that you provided to your children during the summer. Your help was priceless. The transition to online teaching was smooth and with no troubles, as our staff and students were already trained in using online tools. Our school became a veteran in online instructions. So far, we've ran 3 programs to help students acquire the skills needed for the next grade level. So I can proudly say that thanks to our wise and visionary upper management, our teachers and our students obtained the skills related to the use of new technology as well. We are fully prepared for one more challenge, as long as it takes. And I assure you that the online program will provide the coverage of all the skills our students need for the college level, as we are together raising the generation of students who will be the future leaders of this great country. As you already know, advanced placement and pre-advanced placement high school programs have been launched this academic year. There is a good number of courses offered to our students to enrich their skills in the field of mathematics and computer science, as well as advanced English classes. These programs will help widening our students' perspectives and help them acquire new skills. Don't feel that you are alone in this. We are here to help and support you on every step of the way. You are already provided with all contact information, so inshallah we'll be able to handle any situation that arises. As Mr. Omar has already mentioned, our new improvement plan puts emphasis on quality teaching and quality learning. We raise our bar of expectations. Our students will be supported in acquiring skills that will help them in individual studying and other skills that they will be them in the future. This will include like doing some research, making proper citations, how to list the references, maybe writing a proper lab report, including hypotheses, doing a podcast and presenting it, making some analysis, and so on. However, we are in this together, and together we will win, inshallah. I will end my speech with this quote: "The bad thing that happens today could be paving the way for the good things coming tomorrow." Of course, I'm thinking of pandemic and COVID-19. Now I'll give a chance to Mr. Bian, our middle school vice principal, to provide information in Arabic, as it will be detailed and supported by the PowerPoint presentation. Have a great evening, and may Allah protect you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن إن شاء الله سيكون عام خير وبركة علينا جميعا، وإن شاء الله نتخطى هذه الأزمة بسلام وتنزح هذه الغمة عن الأمة. إن شاء الله العام الدراسي سوف يبدأ يوم الأحد القادم 13 من سبتمبر. إن شاء الله يعني كلنا تفاؤل وكلنا عزم، وعملنا طوال الفترة الماضية بجد واجتهاد منقطع النظير للحصول على بداية جيدة وقوية للعام الدراسي. الآن يوجد هناك بعض النقاط الأساسية التي يجب على أولياء الأمور مساعدتنا الالتزام بها مع الطلبة حتى يكون العام ناجح والطلبة يحصلوا على أفضل المخرجات. أولاً يبدأ اليوم الدراسي لصفوف التاسع والعاشر من الساعة 8 صباحاً وينتهي في الساعة 2 بعد الظهر. صفوف 11 وال12 اليوم الدراسي يبدأ في تمام الساعة 8 صباحاً وينتهي في تمام الساعة 3 بعد الظهر. طلبة التاسع والعاشر يحضروا 6 حصص يومياً بمعدل 30 حصة أسبوعياً، وطلبة 11 وال12 يحضرون 7 حصص يومياً بمعدل 35 حصة أسبوعياً. مدة كل حصة 45 دقيقة، ويوجد هناك استراحة 15 دقيقة بين كل حصة والأخرى. والتزام الطلبة بدخول الحصص الافتراضية في الوقت المحدد لبدايتها أمر ضروري جدا جدا حتى يتمكنوا من الحصول على الحضور. علامة الحضور، هناك علامة لاحقا سوف أتكلم عنها، هناك في توزيع الدرجات هناك علامة على حضور الطالب وعلامة على مشاركته في الحصة، فالطالب عليه أن يحضر ويجب أن ينضم إلى الحصة بدقة، يعني 8 تماما، والطلبة الذين يتأخرون لن يسمح لهم بدخول الحصص الافتراضية. أيضا الحضور يؤثر على المشاركة، فالطالب الذي لا يحضر لن يشارك وبالتالي يخسر من علامات المشاركة أيضا. فحضور الطلبة في المواعيد المحددة للحصص أمر ضروري جدا. أيضا هناك استراحة بعد الحصة الرابعة، مدة الاستراحة نصف ساعة، لأنه يتخللها 15 دقيقة إضافية من أجل أداء صلاة الظهر. فبعد الحصة الرابعة تكون استراحة الطلبة نصف ساعة، وبهذه الحالة يتمكنوا من أداء صلاة الظهر. المناهج الأساسية التي قمنا بتوفيرها اللغة الإنجليزية، الرياضيات، العلوم، اللغة العربية والتربية الإسلامية، القرآن الكريم والدراسات الاجتماعية. هذه الجدول يوضح مواعيد الحصص. فالحصة الأولى تبدأ في تمام الساعة 8 تنتهي 8:45 دقيقة. الحصة الثانية تبدأ في تمام الساعة 9 وتنتهي في 9:45 دقيقة. الحصة الثالثة هذا بالنسبة لصفوف التاسع والعاشر. الحصة الثالثة تبدأ في 10 وتنتهي في 10:45 دقيقة. الحصة الرابعة تبدأ في 11 وتنتهي في 11:45 دقيقة. الحصة الخامسة تبدأ في 12:15 وتنتهي في 1، والحصة السادسة تبدأ في 1:15 وتنتهي في 2. فبعد الحصة الرابعة يوجد استراحة نصف ساعة للأداء صلاة الظهر. جدول الصفوف 11 وال12 لديهم 7 حصص أسبوعية. الدوام ينتهي في تمام الساعة 3، فالوقت الإضافي للحصة السابعة من 2:15 دقيقة حتى 3 بعد الظهر. بالنسبة الأسبوعية، صفوف التاسع والعاشر عدد الحصص 30 حصة أسبوعيا. صفوف الحصص 35 حصة أسبوعيا. وهذا الجدول يوضح بالتفصيل كم عدد حصص اللغة الإنجليزية، كم عدد حصص الرياضيات والعلوم، الدراسات الاجتماعية، اللغة العربية والتربية الإسلامية والقرآن. في صفوف 11 في عندهم مادة الكمبيوتر ساينس. أترككم الآن مع الأستاذ عمر حمداش يحدثكم عن تقييم نظام الدرجات وكيفية معايير التقييم للمقابلة الفردية لأداء الطلبة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. One more time. Dear parents, what you look at on the screen right now is the grading system. and it has the following breakdown for the assessment. So the assessment or the mark of the student will include the attendance, the participation, the homework, the assessment itself, individual conference, and the project. As you can see, it's more than what we did during the summer. And this one will include basically everything. And the first 3 columns, this is where actually the students or every student can guarantee at least 30%. So attendance is given 10 marks for any student who attend at least 75%. So basically, if a student is absent more than 25%, he will get or she will get a 0. So no attendance, basically 0 out of 10. But if they're absent, let's say few days, then there is a formula there, very simple formula. If N stands for the number of or total number of the lessons in the periodical, and A is the number of absence, then the formula will be 1 minus A over N times 10. Basically, if let's say periodical has 30 lessons and the student is absent for 3 lessons, then he will get 9 or instead of 10. If he is absent 6 times, he will get 8 instead of 10. But if the student is absent 25%, then the mark will be 0. So we really urge our students to be very punctual and show perfect attendance, inshallah. The second part is the participation. The participation is given 10 marks for any student who show active participation in class, either by asking questions, answering questions, participating in a class discussion, giving his opinion. Any active participation will be counted towards this 10%. And then the third aspect is the homework. The homework assignment, we do recommend that the student does his or her homework every single day, because the homework is a tool basically to enforce what the student learned within that day. That's the benefit of homework, is to enforce and enhance whatever the student learned newly, something that is new. So if they don't do the homework and then next time they will go to the next lesson, the knowledge will be piled up and they may forget, they may not understand properly. So the homework is the best tool to make sure they understand up to date, so they are ready to follow up with the next lesson. But 2 out of the homeworks will be marked, and that will give 10% of the mark. So if the student does the homework, the 2 homeworks out of whatever is given by the teacher, and are completed, if it's not completed, they will lose marks. And if it's not submitted at least 1 day after, they will be deducted marks. So we urge our students to do every homework, and specifically the ones that are to be marked and submitted on time. The fourth category is the assessment, made up of quiz and test. You're familiar with the quiz, and the test is basically assessment tool that is a little bit longer than the quiz. The quiz is usually assessing some quick knowledge for a chapter or so, while the test is usually a unit. So it's longer. However, because we are going for online, we told our teachers to make it less, like shorter than the one that we do in the classroom. So that will add up to 20 marks. Quiz 5 and test 15. And mashallah, for RSS, we did something I don't think there is any other school who did it. Is what we call the individual conference. The individual conference, I don't know if you by now you see the importance of it or not. It's huge benefit to our students when they meet with their teachers for a culminating activity. They sit in front of the student and they respond to the questions to demonstrate their understanding. This is called enduring understanding. This is very important for students going to university. What we mean by enduring understanding is what remains in the education of the student after they graduate. Because more students, if they rely on recall and memory, if they memorize, they will not remember much. I am sure you notice this. But moving forward from this summer, we notice that our students are able actually to sit in front of the student online and explain what they learned. Honestly, when I visited the sessions, I was impressed how the students were able to articulate, to express themselves in their own words and demonstrate that they learned all throughout the program. So now, to help them understand how we mark them on this individual conference, we have 4 aspects. The first one is knowledge understanding, and it's worth 10 points. Knowledge understanding, the student will get 10 points if he's able to just basically show a shallow understanding, even not deep understanding, that's fine. If they recall some facts, that's fine. If they can answer some basic questions about the general knowledge, that's fine. That's why we give it 10 points. The second one is higher a little bit. It's more difficult a little bit, but it is required for the learning. That is critical thinking. So basically critical thinking is when the student is not just remembering what he learned or she learned, they are able actually to think critically and answer some questions that may not sound directly to a yes or no question. So, and alhamdulillah, I think our students are getting this kind of skill. The third one is communication. We want our students to be able to express themselves as much as possible, not repeat what the teacher said, because when they go to university, they will actually present. They do research work, and then they produce something, a paper, a scientific paper, and then they will stand in front of a panel and present and defend their work. So it's very important to start as early as elementary, middle school, and high school. Start the students to have self-confidence in expressing themselves. And the last one is making connections. Making connections is basically the core of learning. So basically, the heart of learning is to be able to integrate what we learn. We learn something, but we should be able to apply it somewhere else. So it's like you guys, most of you are, mashallah, highly educated, like for the engineers, for example. We don't expect an engineer to know exactly what he learned in school, but to be able to take his knowledge of engineering, and then when they come across any situation in life, they're able to make connections. Okay, I learned this, now it is in front of me, a real situation, real life situation. And I should be able to take what I know to solve those problems in real life. That's basically making connections. So take the knowledge and relate to your personal life, your personal experience, your prior knowledge, and so on. So those are the 4 aspects of marking the individual conference. The last one, Miss, if you can go back to the previous slide. The last aspect of the grading system is the project, and the project is worth as much as the individual conference, and it has 2 components: the product itself and the presentation. You see, again, the presentation is coming again. So this is a very easy. I can expect every single student to get more than 20 out of 25 here, because the project, you will do it at home. You have all the resources, and basically it will be differentiated. We are insisting on our teachers to give a lot of differentiation in the project. We don't want them to be doing all same thing, because students do not learn the same way. Some students are visual, some students will like to act and then video themselves, film themselves and do a film. Some of them will write they like to write, for example, a paper or an article. Some of them will maybe do just a research work on a documentary. So we give differentiated project for the students to make them feel engaged in what they choose to be assessed on. So once they have that product, it is marked out of 15. The quality of the product is very important. So make sure your students, your children, type their project, not through handwriting. They type it and they try to ask the teacher for feedback if they want to see how what are the requirements for a proper way of writing, for example, a paper, because we do require that. And then the presentation. Once they present, they submit the product, they will present. They can film themselves, record themselves in the presentation and send it to the teacher, that's fine. Or they can stand in front of the teacher, like the individual conference, and present to the student. I told the teachers, even if they want to let them present to their classmates, that's even better to build more self-confidence. So this basically shows the grading system for this year, and I am so excited to see that, mashallah, the parents at RSS, just looking at the number of attendees, it's more than 200, mashallah. This is amazing, honestly, this is amazing, and we can never do it without your support. So jazakumullahu khairan 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. I really appreciate your engagement, your involvement in supporting your children, and to get them, inshallah, successful. I am sure we will have a very successful year, inshallah, for everybody. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
عدت إليكم. هناك بعض القواعد التي على الطلبة الالتزام بها أثناء حضور الدرس المباشر، اللي راح يكون التيتشر راح يستخدموا منصات، يعني على الغالب حتكون زوم، أو بعض المعلمين ممكن يستخدموا تيمز. فعلى الطالب أنه يتبع القواعد. أولا أنه يكون ملابسه مناسبة لجلسات زوم، يستحسن أنه يرتدي الزي المدرسي، يجلس على كرسي أمام جهازه، لا يسمح لأفراد الأسرة بالظهور أمام الكاميرا. على الطالب أنه ينظم وقته ويحضر الجلسات الحية بالوقت المحدد، ويشارك في الأنشطة اللي تقدم. على الطالب أنه يخلي الكاميرا مفتوحة، لكن الصوت يكون مكتوم. إذا المعلمة احتاجته أنه يتكلم، هي بتعمل له unmute، يعني بتخليه يتكلم على أساس ينضم إلى المناقشة أو الإجابة على بعض الأسئلة. لا يسمح للطالب بالأكل والشرب أثناء الجلسات الحية، وبإمكانه تناول المرطبات في الاستراحة بين الحصص. إذا كان الطالب مضطر أنه يترك الجلسة لدقيقة أو لأي سبب طارئ، فعليه أنه يبلغ المعلم بذلك. أيضا إذا كان الطالب لن يتمكن من حضور الجلسة، على ولي الأمر إبلاغ المعلم في وقت مسبق أن الطالب لن يتمكن من حضور الجلسة الحية. طبعا جميع الجلسات الحية سوف تكون مسجلة، وسوف تكون متاحة على جوجل كلاس روم، حتى يتمكن الطالب من استخدامها كمراجع والعودة إليها لاحقا أثناء الدراسة. في هذا العام الجديد المدرسة لديها سياسة وتوجه بمنع رسائل ومكالمات الواتساب بين أولياء الأمور والمعلمين، فأصبحت الآن ممنوعة نهائياً وتعتبر وسائل اتصالات غير رسمية. فبوجه عنايتكم إلى ضرورة استخدام النافذة الوحيدة المعتمدة للتواصل مع المعلمين والإدارة، والتي تكون من خلال البريد الإلكتروني. طبعاً البريد الإلكتروني للمعلمين سوف يكون متاح، والمعلم سوف يضع عنوانه البريد الإلكتروني على جوجل كلاس روم. بقية عناوين البريد الإلكتروني الهيئة الإدارية والتعليمية للمدرسة موجودة طبعا في الرسالة اللي احنا وديناها أرسلناها لأولياء الأمور على الابليكيشن. ففي عنا في أي أمور ومسائل تتعلق بمناهج المرحلة الثانوية والمتوسطة بإمكانكم التواصل مع السيد حافظ أمين. أولا جهة التواصل المباشرة هو مدرسي المواد، عناوينهم الإلكترونية حتكون موجودة في فصول الطلبة. ثانيا مشرفي المواد، في عندنا مشرف اللغة الإنجليزية السيد حافظ أمين، مشرف الرياضيات السيد خليل أحمد، مشرفة العلوم السيدة سارة هوانة، مشرف اللغة العربية السيد أحمد زنبركجي، مشرف التربية الإسلامية والقرآن الكريم السيد محمود القضاء، ومشرف الدراسات الاجتماعية السيد عبد الناصر جمعة. وطبعا البريد الإلكتروني لهؤلاء الهيئة الأكاديمية متاح لكم. أشخاص آخرين ممكن اللجوء إليهم: المدير المساعد للمرحلة الثانوية السيدة كارين كارنيك، مدير المدرسة للمرحلتين المتوسطة والثانوية السيد عمر حمداش. في الأمور المتعلقة بالأمور الفنية ككلمة المرور واسم المستخدم بإمكانكم التواصل مع السيدة منار عبد العزيز. الأمور المتعلقة بدفع الرسوم بإمكانكم التواصل إلكترونيا مع السيدة هناء الرسام. الأمور اللي بتتضمن أي استفسارات أخرى وأي شيء يتعلق بالأمور الأكاديمية للطلبة بالإمكان التواصل مع الأخصائيين الاجتماعيين السيد نعيم العطلة والسيد محمد عبادي والسيد سمحي أبو القاسم والسيدة مها المدلج. أيضا هذول كلهم ممكن أنه يساعدوا بإيصال يعني أي أمور أو استفسارات أو أمور تخص الطلبة. ختاما سوف أترككم مع فيديو يوضح كيفية الدخول على منصة زوم باستخدام حسابات وإيميلات الطلبة. يعني أصبح الآن دخول الطالب على منصة زوم يجب أن يكون من خلال إيميل مدرسة روض الصالحين، ولن يقبل الدخول بأي إيميل آخر. وهذه الإيميل، هذه المعلومات الآن إحنا زودناكم فيها من خلال الكانفاس آي دي. يعني غالبية أولياء الأمور تشرفنا بحضورهم بالمدرسة اليوم واستلموا هاي الآي دي اللي فيها المعلومات المتعلقة بالطالب، يعني رقم بريده عنوان البريد الإلكتروني والأرقام السرية الخاصة فيه. فالآن لن يسمح إلا بدخول على برنامج زوم، لن يسمح للطالب بالدخول إلا باستخدام حساب المدرسة روض الصالحين، يعني اسم الطالب بعدين روض الصالحين .edu.kw. فأيضا المدرسة سوف تقوم بتنزيل فيديو يوضح هاي الخطوات على انستغرام المدرسة. فالمتابعين لانستغرام المدرسة بإمكانهم مشاهدة الفيديو اللي بيوضح الخطوات كيفية انضمام الطالب لمنصة زوم. بشكركم، بشكر حسن استماعكم هذا اليوم. سعيدين جدا انكم لبيتوا دعوتنا، و يعني إن شاء الله تكون عام خير وبركة على الجميع. كان شرف كبير الحديث معكم. شكرا كثير لحضوركم، بقدر جدا حضوركم، وبترككم الآن مع الفيديو اللي تحدثت عنه قبل دقيقة، يمكن أنا سبقت السلايد. يعطيكم ألف عافية، ونتمنى لكم أمسية سعيدة، وإن شاء الله نلقاكم على خير في حرم مدرسة روض الصالحين قريبا بإذن الله تعالى. اشتقنا لكم.